Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'll be taking you through my OP10 Maya build. This build is my main build. I never need to respec away from it, regardless of the situation, unless I want to play co-op in one res. First, overall, I focus shield tanking skills over health tanking for various reasons. Maya combines shield skills into DPS skills. Inertia gives a huge 50% reload speed bonus, which is massive. And overall, the motion tree is just stronger in terms of DPS output and crowd control. Harmony is focused around healing damage that you take, whereas motion is focused around taking less damage to begin with, which is very helpful when you're 10 levels under the enemies. It also just makes the character flow better, I find. Better cooldowns, just kind of better things in general, better cloud kill spread. Converge is great, of course. Fleet for movement speed. It's just a nicer skill to play with, in my opinion. So that's why we go motion. So while life tap is a very good skill, it's just too far down the middle tree to be worth the investment. We have to pick up skills that we don't want in order to get to it, and it's just not worth it. So first I'll cover the right hand tree. Not much needs to be said here. The right hand tree should always look like this. There's no reason it won't look like this unless you're going Nurse Maya, of course. Helios, Backdraft, and Blight Phoenix just don't scale well at all, even in the lower difficulties, let alone OP10. That and every other skill in this tree is just very strong. Foresight and Flicker, the strongest fight feel like skill in the game, a skill that can one-shot bosses like Boar, then Cloud Kill, Reaper and Ruin, all of which are among the strongest skills in the entire game. This tree is very easy. The middle tree. As I mentioned before, you don't get much out of this one. Great for team play and Nurse Maya, falls rather flat for solo. Life Tap is good, but isn't worth the investment to get there. Mind's Eye and Wrecker are two amazing DPS skills, on Mind's Eye being above the B shield as well, very very nice. So Release gets you above Health Gate every time it procs and hits you, which is great and works very well with the synergy that I'll explain later. The left tree, a great one. Ward is super strong. Accelerate, while not super amazing, is okay. The damage applies under the B shield, so it doesn't really work if you are wearing a B, but the projectile speed is nice as Sandhawk's when using the B. So it's got something for both. Kinetic Reflection lowers incoming damage and helps spread cloud kill. Inertia is another combo DPS tank skill. Converge and Fleet need no words, and Quicken is great with our cooldown rate stacking. Suspension are my 3 points. Want Thought Lock and Res? Take the points out of Suspension and put them there. Suspension, Subsequence rather, is too buggy, and without cooldown stacking, by the time it gets to another enemy, we've almost got a fresh one back anyway. And Suspension Subsequence combo can leave you without a phase lock for a very long time. It's just too inconsistent, and I tend to avoid it since it just leaves you out to dry, and in OP10 you don't want that. We want consistency. So that's why I don't go Subsequence. I only really use it for Digistrip Peak because there's barely anything for it to get caught on there. As for gear, first we'll talk about that synergy with Quicken and cooldown rate stacking. So the Bone of the Ancients, Legendary Siren and Quicken makes your phase lock come back in about 7 seconds, thereabouts. By the time enemies have recovered from the Converge stun and the Slag Ruin applied, you've almost got phase lock back again. Think having Subsequence, only a little slower, but you can choose when to activate it, who to activate it against, and it doesn't get stuck or caught on random objects. And of course we're getting tons of sweet release blocks as well where we're at it. So if you keep killing, you'll keep healing, if they even get through your shield to begin with. As for guns, whichever is good. Some highlights in OP10 are of course the Conference Call and the Interfacer if you can get it, Billy Yuda, very easy to get, the Tatler, the Herald and the Whirlburn, both of those are very easy to get. The Babymaker worked on OP8, but I haven't tested an OP10 yet. Then of course carry Ladyfists, Sandhawks and Pimpernels for when you need them. Corrosive PBFG, Top Neuron, Norfleet for Hyperius. For shields, I of course use a B shield for bosses, but an adaptive shield for mobbing and elsewhere. When I got to OP10, I even used a white rarity adaptive shield that I bought from a vendor until I found a good purple one. The Antagonist and Blockade, if you can get, are pretty great too. The Rough Rider for farming and transportation as well. And of course I carry Legendary Cat, Breakneck Banshee, the Trickster class mods for when the need arises. Thankfully we don't have to respec to get the most out of these class mods, so if you want a one-shot Bunker or Saturn or the new Uranus boss, you can go for it. So I hope this video helped you in entering or getting to OP10 and just OP10 gameplay in general. I hope the gameplay that I showed on screen was enjoyable. It's very fun to play at OP10 even without the B shield or the grog nozzle. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.